She was 19 years old, away from home for the first time, and building a future she had every reason to believe in. Her name was Nadiya Diana Elise Perkins. She was a freshman at Alabama A&M University in Huntsville. She was from Montgomery. She had chosen criminal justice as her major, a field built on protecting people, seeking truth, and finding answers when the worst has already happened. On the morning of Wednesday, March 4th, 2026, Nadiya Perkins was found shot and killed inside an apartment in Huntsville, Alabama. She had barely started the life she came here to build. Just after 9 o'clock that Wednesday morning, the Huntsville Police Department received a shots fired call. Officers responded to the Candlewood apartment complex in the 200 block of Julia Street Northwest. When they arrived on the scene, bystanders directed them to a specific building. Inside, they found Nadiya Perkins. She had been shot. She did not survive. Madison County Coroner Dr. Tyler Burial was called to the scene and confirmed the cause: homicide. The following day, Huntsville police publicly identified the victim as Nadiya Diana Elise Perkins, 19 years old, of Montgomery, Alabama.
Well, this afternoon, there's a deadly shooting at a Huntsville apartment complex yesterday. We have some new details on it as police just identified this victim behind me. That's 19-year-old Nadiya Perkins of Montgomery. Away 31's Karina Shadoan joins us now live with how she is being remembered.
Yes, Demetria, Nadiya was a student at Alabama A&M University, and the school says her loss is being felt across campus. I also spoke with a family member who says she had a bright future ahead of her. Nadiya Perkins was a freshman at Alabama A&M University studying criminal justice. In a statement, university leaders called Perkins a thoughtful and friendly member of the AAMU campus community, saying she was a student with promise and purpose. I also spoke with Perkins' aunt today, Monica Ridgway, who gave Way 31 permission to use these photos. She says the family is feeling blindsided by the tragedy, describing her niece as someone who had purpose written all over her. Loved ones say they're now leaning on faith and each other as they process the sudden loss. Investigators say the case remains an active homicide investigation after police responded to reports of a shooting. So far, police have not released any information about suspects or arrests. The university says it's offering support resources for students and staff impacted by the tragedy, and that Nadiya will be honored later this year at a campus memorial service. We'll continue following this story and bring you any updates as we learn more on our Way 31 News app. Live in Huntsville, I'm Karina Shadoan, Way 31 News.
Alabama A&M University President Daniel K. Wim sent a letter directly to the campus community. He described Nadiya as a student with, and I am quoting him directly, promise and purpose. The university said she was thoughtful, friendly, and that her presence on campus was already felt. Her aunt, Monica Ridgway, spoke to reporters in the days that followed. She said the family is completely blindsided, that Nadiya had purpose written all over her. The university confirmed it would hold a campus memorial in her honor and immediately opened counseling support for students and staff. Within days of Nadiya's death, Huntsville police named a suspect, Ahmad Khalil Barney, 20 years old, of Huntsville. A murder warrant was issued for his arrest, but Barney was not in custody. He was gone, and what followed was one of the most intense fugitive searches this city had seen in years. Law enforcement received a tip placing Barney near a gas station at Jordan Road and Shields Road. Officers moved in, and he fled on foot into a wooded area. The search escalated immediately. Drones went up. 9 units were deployed. The U.S. Marshals Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force was activated. The Madison County Sheriff's Office joined the effort, along with Alabama A&M University Police. 5 Madison County schools, including MT Carmel Elementary, were placed on secure perimeter status while the search swept through the surrounding terrain. Ahmad Khalil Barney had not been found. Not yet. Before we go any further, drop your state or country in the comments right now. And if you think stories like Nadiya's deserve to be told, hit that like button. It helps this channel reach more people.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Margot Gray. Thanks for watching tonight. A two-day manhunt in Huntsville for an accused murderer is now over. 20-year-old Ahmaud Barney is charged with domestic violence and murder of 19-year-old Nadiya Perkins. WAFF 48's Noah Cowell is live at the Madison County Jail tonight. Noah, authorities have been working for 2 days to track this man down.
That's right, Margot. And the area of Jordan Road and Shields Road went from calm earlier this morning to absolute chaos. Police officers, canines, drones all over, even schools were put on lockdown. But it didn't last until several hours later, where the murder suspect was actually found halfway across the city. Wednesday morning, 19-year-old Nadiya Perkins was found dead in an apartment on Julia Street. By Friday morning, Huntsville police released information on a suspect, 20-year-old Ahmaud Barney, who knew Perkins in what police called a domestic relationship. Barney was spotted at the Chevron gas station on Jordan and Shields Road, which was then swarmed by officers, canines, and drones. For hours, police searched for Barney, who was last seen in a black hoodie and slides. Sergeant Chris Jackson with HPD says it was crucial to catch him on foot. Otherwise, the search could have lasted much longer.
It's vital. Once they get into a vehicle, now your search becomes much more massive. City of Huntsville is connected to a major interstate, and within a matter of minutes, you can be outside of jurisdiction of Huntsville.
Jackson says a fight in the apartment led to Barney allegedly shooting Perkins. Witnesses says they heard 5 gunshots and that a woman was screaming for her life.
Our next step in this, now that he's been arrested, he's been booked in, is justice for the Perkins family. Right? They have a 19-year-old girl that lost her life to a tragic incident. So the next part of this is working with the Madison County District Attorney's Office and providing the evidence that they need to hold him accountable for the actions that he did.
Now, there's another potential connection to this case. Madison police arrested Kevon Ford on conspiracy to commit murder, and records show that he also lives on Julia Street where this murder took place. Now, Madison police and HPD can't currently confirm if there's any connection between Barney and Ford's charges, but we will keep you updated as we learn more. Reporting live in Huntsville, Noah Cowell, 48 News on your side.
By Friday, March 6th, just 2 days after Nadiya was found, the manhunt ended. A tip came in from within the community. It directed officers to a residence on Century Street in Huntsville. Just after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, law enforcement moved on that location. Ahmaud Khalil Barney was taken into custody. Without incident, he was booked and charged with murder. Huntsville Police Sergeant Chris Jackson spoke publicly.
Good afternoon. I'm Sergeant Chris Jackson, the Public Information Officer for Huntsville Police Department. As y'all are aware, there was a manhunt earlier today for Barney for homicide off of Julia Street. I'm here to tell you that he is in custody. With that being said, I would like to thank the partnerships that we have with the U.S. Marshals, the Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force, Sheriff Turner and the Madison County Sheriff's Office, Alabama Police Department, Alabama A&M, and our own officers who were out in the heat conducting search for over 2 hours to give us evidence and information. As we were doing that search, we kept compiling information that indicated he had left that area. And as you are aware, he was apprehended off of Century Street.
How were you able to determine that he had ended up in Century Street? What was the process there?
So it's actually a perfect example of when law enforcement, the partnership between law enforcement and the community. The tip that gave us, we got a 911 call after asking the community, giving his name, giving his photo, and urging those that know of his location to call 911. A tip came in alerting us of that location.
Was there any issue in apprehending?
No, he was taken into custody without incident.
Was he believed to have been on foot the entire time?
So that we would be speculating. That's a considerable distance to travel. But with speculation being fact, I can't comment on how he got there.
Can you comment on the relationship that Mr. Barney had to the victim?
They were in a qualifying domestic relationship.
Is there any connection in this case to the arrest of Kevon Ford this morning?
That's a Madison Police Department case.
When it comes to locating the suspect at the gas station originally, I do have a quick question. What technology was used to kind of locate the suspect?
To locate the suspect on Century Street, old-fashioned, word of mouth.
No, I'm talking about the Chevron gas station.
Chevron gas station, you had K9 units, you had drones, you had That was it. Canines and drones. And you had partnerships with your canines. You had officers who were acting as additional eyes in search with the dog.
Were these drones using thermal technology?
They were. Based on FLIR, it's a type of camera, basically gives you the ability to have thermal imaging. It's about 85 degrees outside, so heat plays a huge factor in that. The drones were very effective. The most effective thing that they are is they can give you good indications that he's not in a large area, so that you're able to narrow it down.
Early on, the day of the murder, did you have any idea as things progressed, you developed leads? Did you know that day that you had somebody of interest in that case?
We actively investigated as we were looking into the victim, Nadiya, who lost her life. We knew that there was some type of altercation that occurred within the home that resulted in her death. And then you have to begin to work backwards and expand on the relationship and see who would be there. Through the course of the investigation, that identified Ahmad as the person that's responsible for it. Murder warrant was issued for his arrest, and then location of Jordan Shields was given. And unfortunately, he took off running before we could get there.
During the arrest, was he the only one that was taken into custody, or were there anybody else?
The original call that came in gave a very vague description of Ahmad. There happened to be another individual that was on scene that matched very closely to his description, so that person was briefly detained.
Was Ahmad an A&M student?
Not to my knowledge, but once again, you'll have to ask Alabama A&M.
When you apprehended him, was he actually armed?
He was not armed.
How did you realize it was him that initially murdered the victim?
So that's going to be a part that goes to court. We have our next step in this, now that he's been arrested, he's been booked in, is justice for Nadiya, the Perkins family. Right? They have a 19-year-old girl that lost her life to a tragic incident and holding him accountable. So the next part of this is working with the Madison County District Attorney's Office and providing the evidence that they need to hold him accountable for the actions that he did.
How important was it to locate him in these early hours, especially when there's someone, a manhunt specifically, they could end up, if they find a different method of transportation, could end up getting in a car, and it must be much harder. How important is it to emphasize the early hours as you're able to do that?
It's vital. When someone's on foot, they're obviously going to look for means to get out of an immediate area as fast as they can. Once they get into a vehicle, now your search becomes much more massive. City of Huntsville is connected to a major interstate, and within a matter of minutes, you can be outside of jurisdiction of Huntsville. You're now in Birmingham, but that's where our partnership with the U.S. Marshals Task Force comes in. And the U.S. Marshals, they're very good at what they do. Their whole job is to find fugitives.
What's the relationship with the victim?
The relationship, they're in a qualifying domestic relationship.
You mentioned Kevon Ford cases Madison PD. Are you able to comment on how, if he may have known the current suspect or the victim?
That I would not know.
His words were direct. The department's next step, he said, is justice for Nadiya, the Perkins family. He acknowledged that a 19-year-old girl lost her life to what he called a tragic incident, and that delivering justice for her family now becomes a priority. The case was handed off to the Madison County District Attorney's Office to move toward prosecution. At this point in the case, do you believe the justice system will deliver for Nadiya's family? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I read every single one. There's a detail in this case that is difficult to sit with. Authorities have indicated that Nadiya Perkins and Ahmad Khalil Barney were known to each other. They were not strangers. That single fact reflects a pattern that appears in case after case, city after city. The people most likely to cause harm are often already within someone's circle. Not on the outside looking in, but already close, already trusted, or at the very least, already familiar. Nadiya Perkins studied criminal justice. She was learning the system designed to answer for exactly the kind of violence that ultimately took her life. That weight does not go away. Her classmates are sitting in the same lecture halls she sat in, carrying that reality with them. Her professors are delivering lessons to students who are still grieving. Her campus is working through a loss that no institution and no family should ever have to face. Alabama A&M is committed to honoring her at a formal campus memorial. Her family has asked for privacy while they grieve. And a community in Huntsville City that mobilized fully to find the person responsible is now waiting on the court system to follow through. Nadiya Diana Elise Perkins was 19 years old. She came to Alabama A&M from Montgomery with a clear sense of direction and a future that was entirely within reach. Her family says she had purpose written all over her. Her university says she was a student of promise. Both of those things were true, and both of those things were stolen from her on March 4th, 2026. Ahmaud Khalil Barney is in custody. The Madison County District Attorney's Office is building the case as this moves through the legal system. True Crime Tower will continue to follow it, and when there are updates, you will hear them here first. Nadiya deserved every year she was supposed to have, and her name deserves to be remembered. If this story moved you, share this video. Every share puts Nadiya's name in front of more people and keeps the conversation going. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.